What happens to those who refuse to take the mark of the beast? Imagine you wake up tomorrow morning and the world has changed. You will be shocked when you discover 7 biblical truths about what happens to those who refuse the mark. Because the answer isn't what most people think. It's not about miraculous escape or supernatural invisibility. Discovery 1. The immediate consequence. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. The mark is universal. Everyone from every class, every status, every background, all are required to receive it. And it's placed in a specific location, the right hand or the forehead. And its purpose is economic control. You cannot buy or sell without it. It's everything. You are, for all practical purposes, dead economically. And here's what makes this so insidious. The system isn't designed to kill you quickly. It's designed to pressure you. You can't buy food, then you get hungry, hungrier, desperate. You can't access shelter, then you're exposed to the elements. Cold, heat, rain. The system is designed to make refusing the mark so unbearable that you'll eventually break. You'll give in. You'll take the mark just to stop the suffering. And for many, that's exactly what happens. But for those who don't break, who continue to refuse despite the suffering, the system escalates. Because economic exclusion is just the first step. Discovery 2. The hunting begins. All right, so you've refused the mark. You're locked out of the economy. You're struggling to survive. But the Antichrist system doesn't just passively exclude you, it actively hunts you. Here's the thing. In a world where everyone is required to have the mark, anyone without the mark stands out immediately. Every public space has scanners, facial recognition cameras. The moment you step into any monitored space, which is basically everywhere, the system knows you're unmarked, and it reports you. But it's not just technology, it's people. Matthew 24:10 warns about this. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. During the tribulation, betrayal becomes the norm. Your neighbors report you, because there are rewards for turning in resistors, financial incentives, better rations, social credit boosts. But before the mass arrests and executions begin, the system needs to prepare the population psychologically. The language shifts. Resistors aren't people. They're threats, elements, problems to be solved. Society is conditioned to view those who refuse the mark not as martyrs for their faith, but as dangerous criminals who deserve whatever punishment they receive. And when the executions begin, people cheer. Discovery 3. The breaking point. All right. So you've been caught. You're arrested, detained, and now begins the process of trying to break your will. Detention centers. The Bible doesn't give us a lot of specific details about the prisons during the tribulation, but we can infer based on how totalitarian regimes operate and based on the descriptions we do have in Revelation. At some point, they come to you with an offer. Take the mark, and you can leave. Right now. Go home to your family. Get food. Get medical care. Return to normal life. All you have to do is worship the image of the beast. Just bow down once. Just take the mark. And this all ends. And eventually, the system stops trying to break them. Because at a certain point, it's easier to just kill them. Discovery 4. The method of execution. All right, we've reached the hardest part of this discussion, because now we need to talk about what actually happens to most people who refuse the mark. They're executed, and the Bible is very specific about the method. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus, and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. The souls of them that were beheaded, not just killed, beheaded, specifically. John saw this method 2,000 years ago. It's about humiliation, about spectacle, about terror. It's visceral. It's designed to horrify witnesses. And in the tribulation, these executions won't be hidden. They'll be broadcast, displayed, used as propaganda. Public executions. Revelation 13:15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. As many as would not worship the image should be killed. This isn't small-scale persecution. This is systematic extermination of anyone who refuses compliance. The message is clear. This is what happens to those who resist. Others watch in horror, too terrified to speak out. And one by one, those who refuse the mark are brought forward and executed. But here's what the executioner doesn't understand. Here's what the crowds watching don't see. For the believer being martyred, the moment the blade falls is the moment of ultimate victory. 2 Corinthians 5:8. We are confident, I say, and willing rather to be absent from the body, and to be present with the Lord. Absent from the body, present with the Lord. There's no soul sleep. There's no waiting period. There's no purgatory. The instant you die, if you're a believer, you're in the presence of Jesus. No more pain, no more suffering, no more persecution. Immediate, perfect, eternal joy. The executioner thinks he's ending your life, but he's actually opening the door to paradise. You go from the worst moment of your earthly existence to the best moment of your eternal existence in less than a second. And the executioner? He thinks he's won. But he's just sent another soul into glory and another witness into heaven who will testify against him at the judgment. The blade is not defeat. The blade is the doorway. But here's the question. Does everyone who refuses the mark get caught and executed? Discovery 5. Life in hiding. Not everyone who refuses the mark will be immediately arrested and executed. Some will escape. Some will hide. Some will survive for months, maybe years, in hiding. And for them, life becomes something entirely different. Those who escape initial roundups. When the mark becomes mandatory and the enforcement begins, there will be chaos, confusion. The system, as sophisticated as it is, won't catch everyone immediately. Some people will see it coming and flee before the arrests begin. Jesus specifically commands this in Matthew 24:16-18. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. Flee into the mountains. This isn't symbolic. This is literal instruction for those living in Judea, modern Israel and surrounding areas, During the tribulation, when you see the abomination of desolation, when the Antichrist enters the temple and declares himself God, run immediately. Don't stop to pack. Don't grab belongings. Run, and some people will obey. They'll flee to wilderness areas, mountains, caves, remote regions where the system's reach is weaker. Underground networks of believers. And in these hiding places, communities form. Believers who refuse the mark, who escape the cities, who are surviving off the grid. This is the underground church of the tribulation. But together, even in the most desperate circumstances, believers can encourage one another, remind one another of God's promises, hold one another accountable. The underground church won't be organized, won't have buildings or programs or denominations, but it will be real, it will be faithful, and it will endure. And for some, supernatural provision. Remember Elijah? When Jezebel was hunting him, God sent him to hide by a brook, and every day ravens brought him bread and meat. 1 Kings 17, 4-6. And it shall be, that thou shalt drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. So he went and did according unto the word of the Lord. For he went and dwelt by the brook Cherith, that is before Jordan. And the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning, and bread and flesh in the evening, and he drank of the brook. Birds, delivering food, twice a day. That's not natural. That's miraculous. God sustained Israel in the wilderness for 40 years with manna from heaven. He can sustain the tribulation remnant too. For those in hiding, every day is a battle. Not just physically, but spiritually and mentally. But they endure, because they know the alternative is eternal damnation. However, not everyone hides. Some believers will have a different calling. Discovery 6. The 144,000 and the sealed remnant. All right, we need to talk about a specific group of believers during the tribulation who won't be in hiding, who won't be running, who won't be hiding in caves